for Ford White Sox warm-up. It's been a very positive series from Kauffman Stadium as the Sox and Royals tangle one more time. This is game number 5 in 4 days, so you'd imagine the Sox and Royals are a little bit sick of each other. We would never get sick of each other. Jason and Steve along with you. We'll tell you about everything that happened on the field in yesterday's game, but as you were sizing up this series, one of the landmines really was, do you have enough pitchers to get through 5 and 4 days? And the starters have made sure of that.
The starters have been brilliant in this series. When you take a look at each and every one of them, you realize that they took the game deep. Giolito went 7. He was outstanding. Ronaldo Lopez, equally as good at 6 1/3. Carson Fulmer, just as good as everybody else at 7. And Dylan Covey even managed to go 6 and 1 earned run, even though he gave up 4 overall. So you would say that the starters protected the bullpen. That's the reason why this staff is where it's at right now with a fairly rested pen.
Yeah, and you end up with Hector Santiago available to pitch this game number 5.
And there's no doubt that Hector's had a very good year out of the bullpen. Now we'll see how he does as a starter. He spent most of his career as a starter.
He certainly did, and we'll see him in that role today. Coming up after this, we'll tell you about Tim Anderson off the field and what he's done during this trip to Kansas City. Royals get together for game number 5, and Tim Anderson, who was involved in a little bit of a scuffle with Salvador Perez yesterday, which was terribly diffused very quickly, got a chance to bring some young folks to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. As part of his League of Leaders program, the Sox flew in some young people from 2 high schools in the Chicago area. Tim, Lucas Giolito, Trace Thompson, a number of the Sox players got a chance to get a trip through the museum along with the young folks from Chicago. And here's why it's important for Tim Anderson to do trips like this.
You know, because a lot of people didn't know who Jackie Robinson is. You know, he broke the color barrier, and I think it's important for them guys to know, you know, who broke the color barrier for these guys to be able to play in the major leagues. And man, it's just very important, and I feel like that they need to know it.
And why was it important to you to invite, you know, these new friends of yours, you know, to be able to see this and be a part of this weekend?
Because I wanted to learn who you know, paved the way for me, and so definitely, you know, and kind of show them a bigger picture of life, and you know, get out of the Chicago area a little bit, and come out and see something different, and you know, and kind of see the world. So it was important for them to come out and you know, kind of have a good day.
Tim and his wife Bria have done such a great job taking ownership of that League of Leaders program. A wonderful trip through the museum. Sox and Royals, our Ford White Sox warm-up rolls on after this.
The Ford Warm-Up Show was brought to you by Ford, inviting you to visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com. And by Danley's. When you think of garages, think Danley's.
Well, this go-round in Kansas City has been very merry. Sox and Royals, game number 5. Sox trying to go 4-1 in the series. First pitch coming up.
of WGN Sports.
Holy cow! Yeah!
Nothing like the serenity of a Sunday afternoon at the ballpark. Game number 5 in 4 days as the Sox and Royals say farewell in the series finale. Thanks for joining us once again. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you. The Sox starters and bullpen combined to conserve volume yesterday in terms of number of pitchers. So Hector Santiago takes the mound, the long man out of this bullpen.
Let's face it, 3 or 4 is good, 4 or 5 would be better, and Hector Santiago goes out to try to ensure that here this afternoon. He's worked out of the bullpen, and he's worked very well. This is against Oakland. He throws strikes, he eats up innings, and he's going to have to do the same thing here today. Last year, while wearing the Minnesota colors, he faced this Kansas City team. Now, lifetime, he's done okay against them. There you see the numbers, 3 and 4, the ERA about 4 1/4. Ian Kennedy on the other side of the page, 2 and 3 with an ERA of 4.66. Remember one thing, he gives up a lot of home runs, and the boys are hitting the ball out of the ballpark. It's very warm at the ballpark. It's going to be lively today, and Kennedy's going to give up a few.
Day baseball at Kauffman Stadium. Sox trying to win the series in a big way. The last one they're filing in for from Kauffman Stadium. First pitch next. Delivering the fastest internet and best in-home Wi-Fi experience. Call or visit an Xfinity store today. Sox 23 runs in 4 games in this series. And here's the starting lineup for Ricky Renteria, who is back at the helm today. Yoan Moncada against a right-hander leads off once again. Second straight switch hitter is Sanchez, all the way down to the lefty catcher Narvaez batting 9th.
Let's take a look at the defense, and now Ned Yost is going to line them up. Behind Ian Kennedy, it's Gordon, Jay, and Soler in the outfield with Moustakas, Escobar, Merrifield, and Cuthbert at first base this afternoon. Drew Butera gets a nod behind the plate, and Ian Kennedy on the hill. Kennedy's a 4-pitch pitcher. There you look at the numbers. His ERA pretty good this year, down below 3.5. Opponent's batting average, though, at .271. Not going to strike too many of the guys out. He's not going to walk too many of them, but he does throw a lot of high fastballs, and he feels that with a curve and a slider, he can keep them in the ballpark. Fastballs usually go a long way. Umpires for the game this afternoon. Jordan Baker has the plate. Jerry Lane at first. Greg Gibson at second. And Vic Carapazza is at third base. And a big factor, the wind. For the first time in this series, howling out toward left field. Anything hit that way has got a very good chance of leaving the yard.
See if the Sox can take advantage. Yoan Moncada leads it off. First pitch from Ian Kennedy is ball 1, and we are underway at 1:16 local time in Kansas City. Thank you very much for making us a part of your Sunday afternoon. In the air, left field, and foul from Moncada. Last time we saw Ian Kennedy, it was back in this ballpark. It was game number 2 of the season, and the Sox got to him for a run in the first inning on a Matt Davidson RBI single.
Last year, a tough year for him at 5-13. His ERA well over 5. Big factor last year was he hurt a hamstring, and he felt after taking 16 days off that he came back too quickly. He said he couldn't push off. The leg was a problem, and consequently then his arm really couldn't regroup, and so the ERA was way up there. But a few years back, 21-4 with Arizona 2011.
He's got his first strikeout this afternoon on 4 pitches.
Let's take another look. Good change. Moncada down on strikes. And Yolmer hitting it pretty well with a chance here in the first.
On base plus slugging at .727 for Yolmer Sanchez. As Kennedy throws predominantly fastballs 64.5% of the time. That's his second greatest fastball percentage since 2012. He threw 66% 2 years ago with Kansas City. As he goes away from it there, 0-2 on the breaking ball.
As a 4-pitch pitcher, you really can't look for any one pitch because you have a 25%. And that's the chance you don't want to take. And also, he can change speeds on him, making a guess hitter tough against him.
Fastball after the curveball. Back-to-back strikeouts for Kennedy.
We'll take another look. High heat out of the zone, and Yolmer expands that zone. Ian Kennedy was a #1 draft pick, 21st overall of the New York Yankees way back in 2006. So he was highly thought of then, and he's had some very nice years since.
He was involved in a massive 3-team deal involving the Tigers and the Diamondbacks and the Yankees in December of 2009. Curtis Granderson, Austin Jackson, Max Scherzer, all in that trade. Made a living so far getting ahead. Bring your family of 4 to a White Sox game for as low as $49. Our family 4-pack includes 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 chips, and 4 sodas. Upper level and lower level packages available. Check out the dates at whitesox.com/4packs. 0-2. It's inside.
Kennedy is 3 games under 500 for a career as he nears 100 wins. There you look at the numbers. The ERA up over 4. That's actually, in this day and age, very respectable.
Got a 2-2 on Abreu. Tipped into the glove, strike 3. Abreu spikes his bat. As frustrated as we've seen him. 1-2-3 inning for Kennedy. Similar to yesterday's game number 2, Merrifield and Moustakas and Perez. Jorge Soler is really the central focus right now. He's hit the ball very well in this series. Perez DHing. Drew Butera, the other catcher, is behind the plate.
There you look at the defense. It is very similar to yesterday. Daniel Palka in right field. And Omar gets a nod behind the plate.
For Hector Santiago, a 30-year-old, making his first start in 2018.
There you see the numbers, and they're very good, all out of the pen. But if you're worried about him being stretched out, he can give you 5 innings out of the bullpen easily. With the off day tomorrow and a wonderful run of starting pitching in this series, the bullpen is as fresh as it can possibly be.
And not only eating up innings, but having great success. I mean, the Sox starters ERA in a 4-game stretch this month was 22-24, and that has significantly dropped to 2.53 over the last 8 games.
That one well foul, but you know, you look at the 4 starters in this series and you realize that the shortest start was 6 innings. That was Covey, and he threw the ball pretty well, just 1 earned run, but Giolito, Lopez, Fulmer, and Covey did a great job protecting the bullpen. And Don Cooper is mighty happy about that success.
Right-hand side, Yohan Moncada is there with Palka coming as well, and Daniel Palka gives way at the very, very last moment. Hector Santiago, last time we saw him in a starting capacity with the Sox, it was 5 years ago in Cleveland.
Even then, they weren't an easy team to face at home, and so that was a good outing, but 5 years, a long time, a lot of innings since then. But he said, look, at the stage of his career, he understands he's going to be shuttled in and out of the bullpen. He's available at any time for anything.
I mean, that's the definition of good teammate as well.
Yep.
Just the ability to shapeshift with every situation.
Well, understanding where you are in your career and the needs of the team for your services. And Hector knew that coming over. That's why, number 1, he's so valuable on this team, and number 2, why he has a lot of friends on this team. As you see the shift, the radical shift for Moustakas, who was a pull hitter, who's been hitting the ball to left center in this series.
Pops it foul left side, 1-2 from Hector. Now, out of the bullpen so far this year, every one of his appearances, and he's gone 3 1/3 most recently. That was against Seattle during the homestand. Sanchez's way. He gets there quickly, unloads, safe.
A terrific play by Yomer. And he did everything he could to get it there in time. Now, Moustakas doesn't have all that speed. And Yomer, going away from the throw, almost gets him at first base. This is a whole lot closer than it should have been as Moustakas squibs it off the end of the bat. He's sniffing a base hit all the way. Good job by Yomer, but short of running over Vic Carapazza, there wasn't much he could do.
Yeah, Vic was the runaway truck ramp.
Yes.
Over to third.
Made sure he didn't stray too far into foul territory.
Salvador Perez, who has been the center of attention this morning at the ballpark after his comments about Tim Anderson, both during and after the game yesterday.
You know, Ned Yost kept it in perspective. He actually defended Tim and didn't rip Salvi, just saying, look, it's an emotional game. You can understand. Sox had won 3 in a row. They were feeling pretty good. They lead off with a home run. Then on the other side, we were struggling, terribly struggling, and maybe, just maybe, it was Salvi Perez who decided that he was going to try to psych up his ball club, because it certainly worked, and they won the second game of the doubleheader. But they both shook hands, and I would think no harm, no foul.
Yeah, you'd imagine, and that would be the hope, certainly, as the benches cleared yesterday, but there wasn't a whole lot going on as there's 2 down. Perez strikes out, and look, talking to Tim Anderson before the game today, he said, all I was trying to do was enjoy the moment and have fun. He wasn't trying to show anybody up, and Tim is the type of guy who wants to have fun, and he said, look, that's just the way I lead as well. I mean, he's trying to have a good time. That's the hallmark of this White Sox clubhouse. And Tim also said there was really no reason for everybody to spill out of the dugouts. He and Salvi were talking it over at second base, and it was nothing more than a discussion.
But look, both of these guys, one has already grown into a leader, and that's Salvi Perez, who's been a leader from his minor league days, and the other is going to grow into a leader, and that's Tim Anderson, who was trying to lead by example. And look, he's hit 5 leadoff home runs. He was just exuberant.
I would contend that that is Tim being a leader. I mean, that's one of those growth moments where you do something out of the ordinary to fire up your team by getting emotional about what's going on. And heck, even as he passed Salvador Perez going to the dugout, he tapped him on the chest protector and said, hey, I don't mean anything by it, as Salvi was jawing at him.
No, again, one of those things that happened, and when you have one team that started off poorly and has started to heat it up, and that was the Sox, and another team that started off poorly and is losing the series 3-0 at the time, you have to figure, well, maybe their leader, and that's Perez, was trying to do something to put a stop to that, and it did stop.
1-2 is outside. Hector staying away from Jorge Soler. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Soler, who has been hitting the ball to right center field, is shifted to left center by the Sox. So they don't believe he's going to go the opposite way. Yet everything has been away.
Just low. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Soler. Chesler Cuthbert batting 5th today is next. Royals with 3 runs in game 2 last night, and that was all Kansas City needed to split that doubleheader. Moustakas at first, 2 down. Strike 3, and the inning over. No score after 1.
by Dunkin' Go-Tos. Double deals made for go-getters.
69 degrees, sunny day, Sunday baseball to a T here at Kauffman Stadium. Isn't it nice?
It's been beautiful weather for the entire series.
And it is a welcome change from the opening series here, the great blizzard of 2018's Easter. Sox spent quite a bit of time at this ballpark on the way out on getaway day back in late March, early April. The trip to Toronto coming up, it was very difficult to, number one, get out of Kansas City because of the weather, and number two, get the plane to come earlier to fly internationally. So the Sox had a little bit of a momentary Kansas City sit around that Sunday.
All made up for yesterday with a split doubleheader.
Indeed. 1-2.
Had another one of those, by the way, with the Minnesota Twins. Got a few games to make up with them, 3 to be exact.
What if we just showed up and played the regular series? You think anybody would? You think they might forget?
I think with a split doubleheader, they'd miss the gate.
You think so?
Yeah. And Minnesota is intent on getting there for the wild card, if not the division. So I would say we're probably going to have to play them all. The Twins right now really in a slump, looking up at Detroit and Cleveland both.
2-2 on Delmonico. I enjoyed yesterday's doubleheader. You know what? It seems like a long day at the ballpark, but you got a chance to commiserate and chat with some folks in between games, enjoy all the food Kauffman Stadium has to offer, and then watch 2 baseball games.
When was the last time you saw 2 games under 3 hours? In fact, the nightcap was 2:39.
Nicky charges this ball up left center field. Jay is back at the warning track and makes the play softly into the scoreboard, out number 1.
They were shading him the right way and a little bit more, and that one is out of the park because of the wind. It's a breaking ball that had the whole plate, and Nicky hit it hard. John Jay, who was shading toward left center, able to run it down. He's made a couple of good catches in this series.
One out for Matt Davidson, whose on base plus slugging against Kansas City this year is 1990. It's amazing.
That's pretty good.
For some context, the all-time leader in career on base plus slugging is Babe Ruth at 1164. So if Matt had a career of his time at Kauffman Stadium this season, he would be about double the best ever in Major League history.
Well, this is a good matchup for him, but Kennedy has threaded the needle with 2 pitches. You make perfect pitches, you get outs. Matt has always seen Ian Kennedy well. Kennedy working quickly. He feels pretty good about his stuff today. 4 up, 4 down, and he's well ahead of Matt.
On 0-2. Sprayed foul again. Friday, May 4th, come see the White Sox take on the Minnesota Twins. 7:10 p.m. Stay for a spectacular postgame fireworks show presented by Magellan Corporation. Get your tickets today at whitesox.com or call 866-SOX-GAME. Chopper foul from Davidson.
Todd Steverson's been working with Matt on keeping the knob of the bat up, and consequently the barrel of the bat stays a little bit higher. He wants the barrel of the bat high. If you have a tendency to tilt the knob of the bat like pretty much at a 45-degree angle, you drop the head of the bat and you can't catch up to it.
Davidson in the air left field. Gordon back at the warning track, and he makes the catch.
That one didn't miss by much. His 4-time Gold Glover goes back with just a couple of feet to spare and able to make the play. So high up in the wind, And although Matt didn't get a whole lot of it, he thought he might have had enough of it. Gordon drifting, and he's got a couple of steps to spare.
2 out for Daniel Polka, who swings at the first pitch and elevates it to Gordon, trying to size it up with the sun in his eyes, shading himself, and Polka's on his way to second. He's going to third. Gordon never had that in his crosshairs. Daniel Polka stands at third.
Alex Gordon tried 3 things. It'll be interesting to see how that's scored, by the way. It is scored a triple, and it should be. You got the sunglasses, you have your glove, and you have the angle. And he's trying to get the angle so he can see the ball. Now he's guessing where the ball is. He sees it at one point, and then it drops out of the glove. So that's a good call. It deserves to be a 3-base hit. It's a very difficult play from an outstanding left fielder. And if he can't make that play, it's not going to get made. As you see, he turns his head away because he saw the ball and was hoping he put the glove where the ball was going to stick. It didn't, and it's a 3-base hit.
Tim Anderson takes a strike, and Daniel Polka, in a series in which he gets his first major league hit and his first major league home run, he now has his first major league triple, and it's off the glove of Alex Gordon in left.
And you got to credit Daniel because he didn't stop running. I mean, on a lazy fly ball lifted to left field, it's pretty easy to just maybe check it up and wind up at second base. He did not. He's standing at third, where a wild pitch or a pass ball can score him.
Tim in the air to left. Gordon on the way. He dives and he saves the run that the Royals were nearly cost by the sun. Nice play by Gordon, inning over. Sox and Royals, no scores, second inning. Thanks for joining us. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti, and our entire wonderful crew here in Kansas City. Hector Santiago has strike 1 to Cheslor Cuthbert, who still doesn't have a hit in this series. Sox have kept him quiet.
Cuthbert is a native Nicaraguan who is a third baseman by trade. And by the way, defensively an excellent third baseman. He's strong, doesn't have the pop of Moustakas, but today he's playing first base. Omar wants a face-high fastball, and so far we'll see what he gets.
Now a foul ball on a ball up. Former 30th round pick of the Sox in 2006, Hector Santiago, who has made himself a very nice major league career.
He's hung around this long because of durability, because he will always take the baseball in whatever role you choose to use him. And he's a great teammate, always has been.
Into the high sky. Garcia in center makes the catch. And one away. Time for the GMC Sox Farm Report. Some finals from last night to report. The only winning team in the system was Birmingham, beating Biloxi 4-2. Here's why.
Fly ball center hit well. Corey Ray back looking up. It is Gonzo Jimenez.
Kurt Bloom on the call. Birmingham Barons legendary radio voice Eloy Jimenez with a home run, a season high 4 knocked in for Birmingham in the victory. As there is ball number 1 to John Jay.
Our fans are going to be very familiar with that home run trot because they're going to see it a lot when Eloy gets here.
But Steve, when's he going to get here? When's he going to get here? When's he going to get here?
We have to have just a touch of patience.
Oh.
Mixed in with a little more patience, then he will be here. And when he gets here, and again we have to say barring injury, when he gets here, he's going to be here for a long time.
The point again of minor league baseball is not just to keep players down, just to have them there. I know there are certainly financial aspects of it as well that are discussed, but there are components of each player's game that you'd like to have smoothed out as much as possible for when they do get here, as Yolmer runs out of room.
He's still very young. He still has to see a whole lot of pitches. He's got to hit in situations. He's got to understand what pitchers are trying to do with him. And he's got to realize when maybe you might want to throttle back that stroke a bit, when you can really air it out and do exactly what you're going to do. And so it's not surprising that Alex Gordon is going to be charged with an error on a ball that he didn't see, because we have seen a lot of things that haven't been seen in this entire series. So take the triple away from Polka, add an error to the 4-time Gold Glover, because of course that's an easy play to make.
3-2. Slash foul. So Daniel Polka's first career triple is no longer.
It's wiped off the boards.
Easy come, easy go for Daniel. He's going to have to get it some other way. Had it right in his hand.
Easy play. The fact that he didn't see it is irrelevant.
Well, the counter argument would be, and I know you're going to say yeah, but it's a bad argument, so I already know where this is going.
No, I would never say that to you.
No, you already have. It's on tape. The counter argument is, well, it's his job to find a way to see the ball.
Yeah.
As there's ball 4, 1-out walk for John Jay.
Well, it's like Lurie Garcia losing a ball in the lights. Sometimes you just can't see it because you can't get an angle, and you can't crawl under the grass to get an angle. And you looked at a guy with sunglasses on, looked at a guy obviously with his cap on and using his glove and angling his body to do everything he could to see it. When he couldn't see it, it's hard to charge him with an error for that, but maybe he'll win a Gold Glove anyway. Maybe that will be the determining factor that will lose him the Gold Glove.
He's already got a whole handful, literally a handful.
Yeah. Just an outstanding fielder.
That was close, no cigar, ball 1. Again, this is the 2-person team error lobby, but that also shouldn't harm the pitcher. You get a fly ball, you shouldn't get harmed ERA wise if a run comes home.
Couldn't agree with you more.
One out to Gordon. Well, you'd do anything to keep a pitcher's ERA down.
Of course. It's the union. It's the pitcher's union.
Hot shot to left. Error groundskeeper.
Well, if it takes a terrible hop, you have to give him an error if it takes a terrible hop. Yeah. I mean, you could have made that play.
It's a revision. 1-1 on Gordon. He floats it to left. Delmonico for route number 2. Sox will be in St. Louis. the 1985 World Series road trip for the Sox, coming to Kansas City and then off to St. Louis for 2. A team that is in the middle of a thicket of 3 teams, 4 games over 500 in the National League Central. Each of them a half game back of the Pirates at 16-11. Two down, Jay at first. Hector Santiago to Escobar for ball 1.
Pittsburgh has won 4 games in a row. The Cubs have won 3 in a row, and the rest have lost their most recent game, as well as St. Louis, 2 losses, Milwaukee 3, and Cincinnati 1 loss. 10 games back. It's rebuilding for the Cincinnatis.
To right field, Polka catches the ball on a line, and the inning's over. To the third, no scoring.
Is brought to you by the Subway Triple Play. You can text Subway to 97999, and the 300th texter is going to win a $30 gift card. Subway, so much sandwich.
So much Kansas City on the schedule to start this year. 2 trips to Kauffman Stadium. Sox will only come back 1 more time. Meantime, the Royals come to Guaranteed Rate Field all in one small pocket. It's going to be all Royals all the time, 1 more time.
5 weeks. 3 trips in 5 weeks.
It's unreal. To first, Chesler Cuthbert. My goodness, hold the line.
We told you that he's a magnificent third baseman defensively, and it certainly transfers over to first, where he's using a bigger glove. So going to his left, this saves a 2-base hit, much to the dismay of Leury. And a very good play turns into out number 1.
Man.
Just a very good glove man. Doesn't matter where you put him.
1 down for Omar. So Narvaez gets the night game last night and then the day game after. Young legs, 26 years old.
It very well be that sometimes older catchers have a hard time rallying.
To left field, and Gordon for out number 2. There was a panda escape to the mound last night in Major League Baseball. Pablo Sandoval with a perfect inning on the mound for the Giants.
He's got a pretty good arm. He looks like there was some pitching in his past, because that's a good breaking ball. Threw the fastball 87, threw it right where he wanted to, and so maybe he has discovered a new career for himself.
Look at him shake off, too. He gets a ground ball here, and Panda with a perfect inning. John Miller in the background, and his quote was priceless after the game. Somebody asked him where he learned his curve, and Sandoval said, quote, "You don't learn that, you're born with that."
Well, that's true. That was a good curveball, by the way.
Yep.
That was a lot of pitchers would be envious of that. And they needed Pablo to eat up some innings, and he did.
Our old friend, the Shark, Jeff Samardzija, quote, "Couple miles an hour more and he might be serviceable." Ball and a strike. You've got to love that, though, right? Some guys in the minors, they'll go out and they'll pitch and just kind of fool around a little bit. He was locked in, Panda was.
Well, there is no doubt that a lot of position players want to pitch, and a lot of pitchers would like to play a position, especially if they can hit anything.
One and two. Upstairs, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fastball topped out at 87 for Pablo Sandoval.
You'd have to think that Kennedy would try to get him on something off speed, either a straight change, that's how he got him in the first inning, or a breaking ball, after showing him that high fastball away. That's an inside fastball. Let's see if he gets it there.
3 and 2. Just had a thought. If Major League Baseball ever thinks about doing away with extra inning games being as long as they are, there's been some talk, especially within the minors, runners starting at second base starting in the 10th inning. You could feasibly have a plan involving something like Sandoval as Moncada singles to right in front of Soler. It's a 2-out base hit. The plan being, once you get to a certain point in extra innings, you have to pitch a position player. You'd still be playing the innings.
Yes.
But each team would be at something of a disadvantage.
Well, that's when you have Max Scherzer playing shortstop for a non-consequential inning, and then you use him as a position player.
Oh, you have to
and use him
declare.
later. Oh, I
You
see.
have to declare
Yeah.
who your guys are.
Well, that wouldn't strike at the integrity of the game, so I think that's a great idea.
Would you rather have that or runners starting at second base in extras?
If you're going to start him at all, I'd start him at first, not at second. But I don't think either would be great.
On the ground, Merrifield goes the short way to Escobar. Sox get that first hit. It stays on the board this time. No score after 2.5.
Debit card only available to local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/White Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC.
Sunday afternoon baseball at Kauffman Stadium. Sox will be on the road in St. Louis for 2 on Tuesday and Wednesday. Night game into a day game. 7:15, 12:15 first pitches, and then the Twins at home.
I'm looking forward to seeing the St. Louis Cardinals. They got a good team. Pham, they're playing center field now. They've got Ozuna over there, and he's always a good player. They got him from the Marlins. I just like to see Molina catch. To me, Yadi Molina is state of the art still, even at this advanced age. He's terrific. Got themselves a good team, and the division is pretty well balanced.
There's a season a couple years ago when it looked like Molina might be slowing down, and then last year into this year, he's shown himself to still be very viable behind the plate, one of the best ever.
Pitchers love to throw to him because he frames pitches so well, and he buys pitches for the pitchers. I mean, he'll get strikes where other people won't, and much to the dismay of a few people in this league, but that's his job.
It's called a ball. 3-2 on Butera. Inside, ball 4, leadoff walk to the 9-hitter for Kansas City. Interested to see Tommy Pham as well. Quite the deep thinker, Tommy Pham. We'll delve into his story as the series goes along in St. Louis.
Well, again, they switched him over to a center fielder, and he seems to be thriving out there. He could always hit the baseball, and this year, with the position change, he's doing it pretty well. That's one of the things that will cost you some runs normally, is walking a 170 hitter at the top. And unfortunately, Hector lost Butera.
Heard some people say that as you go up the levels from advanced A to AA to AAA, there are fewer holes in the lineup. Fewer players that you really should get out. Once you get to the majors, there are no more free outs. As close as you can get to a free out in the majors, which doesn't exist, again, with that being the premise, you got to get the 9 guy out, and that base hit puts 2 on with nobody out. In the third, Merrifield pushes Butera to second.
So a jam for Hector here in the 3rd inning. Merrifield back up the middle. He's just around a 300 career hitter against our Sox, so this is not surprising. One of the questions, and Tim Anderson looking over in the dugout to say, where would you like me to play? Because normally with Moustakas, he's on the first base side of second. This time, you have to both watch Butera, although he's not a stolen base threat, but you want to be the pivot man on anything hit to the right side. And there is a shift, but not quite as it was the first time up, when Moustakas squibbed one off the end of the bat and barely beat out an infield hit.
Ball, no strikes on Moustakas. He went around. Didn't want to, didn't mean to, but he did.
And the appeal was no appeal, because Jordan Baker, who towers over just about any catcher hitter combination, saw that he did indeed swing on a pitch out of the zone.
Butera at second, Merrifield at first. And a 1-1. Late swing again. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He's not picking it up very well, because he swung when that was in Omar's glove. That's a spot for him. You can throw it up, you can throw it in. He's not going to hurt you. Get it out over the plate, and it's a different story. 38 home runs last year would show you just that. He has 8 this year, and he's knocking at the door at 20 runs driven in.
Looks like the Cardinals might be a little teed off when we get there. They're being perfectoed through 4. Now through 5 by Nick Kingham of the Pirates.
no score in that ball game.
2-2.
It was a changeup. It was up in Moustakas' eyes, and that's what Omar is pointing. When you throw that change, make sure you stay on top of it. Then you can actually pull it down with you, but high changeups go a long way.
Two. Fastball fouled off. Your 2018 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate, your home team throughout the season and the official mortgage provider of the Chicago White Sox. Get started today at rate.com. .50 pitch mark for Hector Santiago, 31 strikes. 2-2 again. On the ground, could be two. Moncada, Anderson, Abreu, double play.
Time now for the Danley's defensive play, and it's a big double play of the 4-6-3 variety. We told you that Tim has to be the pivot man. That's why he set up where he did. That was pretty easy after that. These guys are growing together. They're getting to know one another, where the ball is going to be, and that's exactly where you want it. You want it letter high, giving you a chance to get it quickly, locate where the runner is, and make a good solid throw.
Well, Tim said the other day, he said, you go on TV and you call us the Jordan and Pippen of the middle infield. I said, you sure you want that? Because it's a pretty high bar.
Yeah, I think they give him a couple weeks in the big leagues and we'll figure that out.
I was going to say.
When you think of garages, think Danley. Put a bow on that one.
Your taglines are like time release capsules.
They're a little late, I grant it.
Pop up back of home. Omar doesn't have enough room. It's off the chair back and into a hand. Two strikes on Perez. Butera at third after his leadoff walk.
Did I tell you about So Much Sandwich yet?
Yeah, you got that one in just a little while ago. Oh, and 2. Here she comes.
But we do know from experience that Salvi probably going to swing at something out of the zone. He has, however, taken a walk in this series, which is somewhat of an upset. But when you get him down 2 strikes, he's very anxious. And Omar wants him to step off. We'll take a look in and see what he might want. Fastball in.
And he fouls it away.
Good location. He tied him up right in on his hands. Nice job of getting inside by Hector. What we don't know is just exactly what the pitch limit is going to be, and it certainly depends on how many pitches under duress he makes. He's had a base runner in each and every inning, and that was a good stop, saving a run.
'27-year-old Salvador Perez. Butera, the veteran catcher, at third. Both catchers in play here for the Royals. And strike 3. Hector buries Perez, and the inning's over. sitting, no score. Top of the 4th inning. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you. Jose Abreu will lead it off. But first, it's Audi Sox Math, brought to you by your local Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Audi dealers. Visit AudiOffers.com for exceptional deals. Louis Aparicio's jersey number plus the age he'd have turned today if he were still alive.
I'm thinking that Jose is going to hit this ball hard. He was very frustrated last time. And he normally has very good swings at Ian Kennedy, although today Kennedy's been very good. So he got much the better of him the first time up. Let's see if Jose gets the better of him this time.
Yeah, Louis Aparicio, by the way, still alive today, turning 84.
Well, that's, you know, the usual game that you play, which is he still alive?
Yeah,
and in this case, the answer would be yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if he were alive, which he is, he would be 84.
Indeed. Jose Abreu with a swing and a miss, and it's a ball and 2 strikes.
You pretty much then, I'm pretty much thinking that I can even get this one, and I don't get many of them.
You can. You got it?
No. Oh, yes, of course, but I have to recuse myself.
Two balls and 2 strikes on Jose Abreu. Delmonico and Davidson to follow. 4th inning, no score.
Kennedy got him on a slider the first time up as the 3rd out in the 1st inning when he struck out the side, and so far he's throwing very well.
2-2. It's downstairs. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Abreu. So Sox had a hit, and then lost a hit, and then picked up a hit again. The error in the 2nd inning, and then a base hit for Moncada in the 3rd.
We had an interesting visitor between innings that we'll tell you about after this at bat.
Ball 4. Abreu takes a walk to lead off the 4th.
Well, that visitor was Ford Frick Award winner, and some would say Hall of Fame broadcaster Denny Matthews. Has done every game the Royals have ever done. He came in between innings, and just so I didn't think I was losing my mind, he said which part of that Gordon play was an error because he wasn't able to decipher it. And there's a look at Denny. His brother Mike is in town. They have a brother's trip to Boston coming up after this series is over. Denny's just a wonderful man and a great broadcaster, and he obviously can see a base hit and understand it. Congratulations, Denny.
How nice of you.
Yeah.
No balls and a strike on Nicky.
Nicky hit it hard the first time. He's off the plate, daring Kennedy to stay away from him.
What do you think of Kennedy so far?
He's been very good. He's working quickly, and he's got supreme confidence in his stuff. Along with Butera, they're working very well because he's not shaking him off very much. I'm just thinking 2nd time through, the guys are getting better swings. They're having better at bats. They're having longer at bats. He sawed right through the first 3. And then what should have been a base hit but was an error in the 2nd inning. Had a pretty good 3rd, and we'll see what happens here. Scoreless affair here in Kansas City in the finale.
2-2 on Delmonico. Three balls and 2 strikes. So the Sox waiting out Ian Kennedy here in the 4th. Matt Davidson on deck. left-hand side. And this drops. Abreu's on his way to third. He's in there safely, and the Sox build a rally here in the fourth.
Wasn't hit hard, but it certainly was effective. Gordon couldn't get to it, as that ball actually was knocked down and toward the line. And Escobar, with a big effort trying to get to it, he couldn't get to it. So Jose, nice piece of base running. When he realizes it's going to fall, and it did, you see Moustakas racing back toward the line. Abreu halted briefly, and then realizing nobody was at third base, it was going to be very difficult as Escobar in the shift now moves to third but can't get there in time. And the trailer, Nicky Delmonico, winds up at second base in what should be a two-base hit.
We have seen so many series in this ballpark when things like that happen for Kansas City. It's nice to see things turn.
And Nicky gets a two-base hit. So things looking a little better here second time through the lineup.
No balls and a strike on Davidson.
Infield is back. They're going to concede the run to stay out of a big inning. Only Cuthbert is even with the bag, and he's at first. So in a situation where Matt can drive home a run with a ground ball, you think a bit about shortening your swing, just making some contact.
Called strike three on the corner and one away.
Looked like a changeup, and it did have a piece of the corner.
Ball one to Daniel Palka. Sox struggled at points with runners in scoring position. That has gotten better in this series in Kansas City.
Kansas City's a team that struggled with runners in scoring position in this series.
Yeah, first 3 games in this series, especially 10, 11, and 8 runners left on. 9 in the win even last night.
This is starting to look like a pitch around with first base open and a righty coming up next in Anderson.
3 balls, no strikes.
Kennedy normally has very good control, and he realizes that you got a guy who had 4 hits yesterday, including his first major league home run. So why not pitch around him? And maybe Ricky Renteria says give him the 3-0 green light.
He did. 3-1.
Still a high fastball, so Kennedy thinking along the same lines as Ricky Renteria, making sure that he's not going to run into one that was thigh high and out over the plate.
Called a strike. Close pitch on 3-1. Now 3-2 to Palka. Here's the sacrifice fly probability, and this takes into consideration the arms of the outfielders.
Shows you that Jay's arm is not the strongest, but a strong arm in right and left. Fouled
away by Daniel, who did end up with both baseballs from yesterday. His first hit and his home run ball both ended up in his possession. They're in a sock in his bag.
It's kind of nice. You expect the first base hit because they throw that out. Getting the home run could prove problematic, but it wasn't.
Another foul ball. So Daniel Palka with a long at bat here against Ian Kennedy. Palka hits it well. Right field, Soler toward the corner at the warning track, and he can't make the play. Abreu scores. Delmonico's coming home as well, and the Sox take the lead. Daniel Palka with a drive.
Only thing kept that ball in the ballpark was the wind is howling toward left center field. Otherwise, that's a 3-run homer. A towering fly ball. Soler went all the way back as far as he could go. And watch this one. A fastball right down the middle. Daniel thinks he got most of it, but the wind keeps it in. Looking up into the sun. Soler cannot make the play. Now he had enough room and the wind batted it down, but he's looking into the sun, did not make the play. The flags had something to do with it, and it's 2-0. And for Daniel, he's driven in 6 runs.
You know, he went a couple games without that first hit, then ends up having a 4-hit day, and now drives in 2 here in the 4th today.
Leadoff walks, veteran or rookie, doesn't matter. Leadoff walks are costly, and it was here in the 4th. And second time through has been the charm. As lively as this park is today with the high skies, and the outfielders are about to get some help though, because it's clouding up and you're going to be able to get some contrast. It's a whole lot easier than bright sunshine and no clouds.
What amount of contrast do you need? I mean, like, how much cloud do you have to have?
You'd like to have some, just to give you something as you look up, because the bright sky with no clouds whatsoever, like in Arizona, makes it very difficult. You see clouds starting to bunch up a bit, the visibility will get better. It's a lot easier on the outfielders.
.27 pitches out of the 67 for Ian Kennedy. Outside, 1-2. Sox team is just drawn a bunch of energy from this ballpark. For whatever reason this season, this has been the place the Sox have played their best baseball.
By far.
2 down, Kennedy with his 5th strikeout.
Leary hit it hard the first time up, and a fine play by Cuthbert at first base saved the double.
And ball number 1 to Garcia. Kessler Cuthbert, normally a third baseman, playing first with an outstanding effort to pull that ball in down the line. One and one on Garcia.
That was a good change by Kennedy.
To right. And Soler. That retires the side. 2 runs across for the Sox. We'll play bottom 4 after this.
Well, because it was against our ball club. That was on May 9th of last year. He had a good curveball that day. Fastball was popping, and everything went well for him. So, hoping to duplicate that. He's got a 2-run lead, and so far thrown it very well. The question will be, of course, how many pitches he is allowed to throw. Right now, he's done a good job, but he's had a base runner on in each and every one of the first 3 innings.
First pitch, a strike to Jorge Soler.
By the way, that perfect game in Pittsburgh against the Cardinals is still in place through 6. Pittsburgh leads that 3-0.
Don't want to end up with the old perfect game where you have to go into extra innings. So
No.
Good news for the offense there.
I think that was Harvey Haddix, who lost
Sounds
it
right.
in the 12th inning. I remember that. Not well, though.
That's strike 3. Soler with his second strikeout.
The 4th for Hector, as he's thrown it real well. This one's shaving off the inside corner.
One down for Cuthbert. What an asset for the Sox to have not only Hector Santiago but also Chris Volstad in terms of the ability to soak up innings out of the bullpen if you need them, or in this type of situation where if you're going to pile up doubleheaders, which the Sox do have later in the year, you get the opportunity to send out Hector.
The Sox knew when they got Santiago that primarily he had been a starting pitcher, and they also knew that he probably was not going to secure a spot in the starting rotation. So a lot of comfort with him in the pen, knowing that he can do just about anything. You need an out every now and then, he can get you that out. Or you need 5 innings, he can get you that. Or in this situation, you have to have a starter for a Sunday in a 5-game, 4-day span, and he can do that for you.
Tag to left field. Nicky is back at the warning track on the wall, and it's gone. Cheslor Cuthbert
First home run of the year. He's now driven in 3. He is a very strong man. That one up in the breeze, but it had plenty on it as Nicky thought he had a shot at it, only to see it drift out of the yard. We'll watch it again. It's a fastball. It's middle in. It's up, and it's gone. Talking about that wind, and this is the first one that it helped affect.
Comebacker in a big way, and Hector has out number 2.
Fortunately, that was to the glove side, and he was able to snag it. And of course, an infielder will tell you way to charge that one. Take another look at it. It's a line drive off the bat of Jay. It's a slider, and right there in the glove. Glove side, you don't mind any type of line drive. Throwing hand side, that's problematic.
I mean, because the instinct is to, I mean, first of all, reach for it, even though you know you shouldn't.
Well, that just is instinct. There's nothing you can do.
There really is no way to train yourself not
Nope,
to do that, right?
There is not. Same thing with your foot as you try to make a kick save. You see something coming toward you that you can't get a glove on, you're going to try to knock it down with your foot. Even if it hits you on the ankle, I mean, you're just going to do it. That's the second nature.
Which happened to Ian Kennedy in his last start. Ryan Braun smoked him in the foot with a line drive at 106 miles an hour.
I always said it's very difficult to defend yourself from the waist down. You're going to get hit in the foot. You're going to get hit in the shin. But you should be able to protect yourself waist up if you have very good hands and a nice follow through.
Three and 2. That's ball 4. Close pitch. Hey, join the White Sox Sunday, May 6th for Nurse Appreciation Day, presented by St. Xavier University. All Illinois nurses and their families and friends can enjoy a specially priced ticket package, which includes a game ticket and a White Sox scrub top for the first 1,500 fans. Visit whitesox.com/nurse or call 866-SOX-GAME.
And for those of you who unfortunately have spent any time in the hospital, you will realize just how important those nurses are, because they do just about everything for you. You see the doctor on occasion, finds out how you're doing, shakes your hand, and then the nurses take over, and they are wonderful. So we appreciate them, and so do the White Sox, and that promotional item.
They deal with people in their worst states they don't want to be in, and have to have the patience and compassion to last 24/7. That ain't easy.
Nope, and it makes a very unpleasant situation a little bit better.
Oh, 1. Down the line, pinging off the bag. And now Nicky doesn't handle it cleanly, but Gordon stops at third.
There's a break, because if Alex Gordon had not slowed up, he probably scores. This is a 2-base hit. And again, the break is that it hit the bag. If this doesn't hit the bag, it probably caroms off the wall, and Jersley right there, he holds him up. And he waited a long time to throw up his hands. Now, he doesn't know that Nicky Delmonico is not going to be able to corral this ball, so it's not on the third base coach, and it's not on Alex Gordon, because he's got to slow down, thinking that play's going to be made cleanly. So Don Cooper comes out to have a word with his left-handers at the 74 pitch mark, probably talking about being really careful with Escobar here. Rather, Butera. Not comfortable, but you're not going to pitch around him, certainly, but he's given the Sox some problems during the course of his career. He's also driven in 5 runs with a 170 batting average, so that's pretty good. His father, Sal, longtime scout with the Toronto Blue Jays, in attendance for this series, scouting both of these teams. He's seen a whole lot of the Sox this year in all their minor leagues.
Butera walked his first time. It was a 6-pitch trip to the plate. Now 0-2.
He aggressively went right after him.
There is strike 3, so Hector Santiago reaches back and takes care of Butera. Sox have the lead 2-1.
It's the strikeout that ends the inning. Keeping the lead, Butera goes down 1-2-3, and some very happy Sox teammates as Hector has got the lead through 4.
Narvaez, first pitch hunting, rips it to right field, and Omar's 1 for 2.
Omar gets a little more play. He's going to get that stroke grooved because he's just suffering from lack of ABs, and with the weather and with all the young pitchers and Ricky Renteria wanting Wellington Castillo, the veteran, to catch the rookies. Omar hasn't had that many at bats, but he's a quality hitter and he's starting to show it as the at bats have mounted up.
Moncada shows bunt and takes ball 1.
It's good of Yuan to do that. Show bunt on occasion, whether he's going to bunt or not, because you want him in at the corners if you can get him in. And that's where Moustakas is. Of course, Cuthbert has to hold him close, so he cannot play any closer than he is.
Yoan Moncada, 7 hits in the series. He went back-to-back games with leadoff home runs this week.
By the way, that perfect game is by the boards. It was broken up with 2 outs in the top of the 7th inning. Pittsburgh still leads 4-0.
2-1. Outside, 3 balls and a strike. Cardinal team tied with both with the Cubs and Milwaukee for second place in the Central. Pittsburgh is a half game ahead, at least opening play today, as that series comes to a close. That's a tough division to figure out, because it seems like each team there has some things that aren't going as well as you'd expect to start 2018. Brewers have had some injury trouble, certainly.
Keep thinking the Cubs have the most talent.
Foul ball on 3-2. That is strike 3. 1 down here in the 5th.
That was a good changeup from Kennedy. That's how he got him in the 1st inning. Sandwiched in between a single, but he kept that one low and away in a perfect spot. Good pitch.
And Yolmer coming up. So 6 strikeouts, 1 walk thus far for Ian Kennedy. And Sanchez takes ball number 1. Yolmer was chatting with some reporters before the game who were asking him about his grasp of the English language, which is very strong, and how he first learned the language to get to the point where he is. And it came down to need in some regard. He said, you know, the first thing he realized he needed English for was he loves to eat and he had to order food, which is quite often what you hear players say.
It's always a great incentive. However, there's a great player with a nickname derived from eating the same thing every time. It's what they called Hank Aaron the beginning of his career. We learned that at the Negro Museum the other day. Called him pork chop, because everywhere he went to eat in the early days, he ordered a pork chop and continued to do that. Now, there wasn't a language barrier, obviously. He must have liked pork chops, but you'd have to think there was something else on the menu, and he decided not to change, and he parlayed that into a Hall of Fame career. So worked out well for him.
Creature of habit, as many baseball players are. I mean, if you don't have a routine in baseball, yeah, there's nothing to anchor yourself to when times are rough.
And also, I mean, look, it's superstitious. If you do something and it works well that night, you keep on doing it until it stops working.
Two and two. It's upstairs. This from the guy who went to the House of Pancakes every time he was starting for a while.
And ate a hot turkey sandwich with hash brown potatoes, which of course is a staple there.
Three and two. It's downstairs, ball 4, 2 on, 1 out. In the 5th, enjoy guaranteed rate field just like a player. Play catch in the outfield, warm up in the bullpens, visit the dugouts, and much more. Take your experience to the next level and buy a premier ticket that includes hitting in the batting cages. Join us for Family Field Days Saturday, May 12th, and support Chicago White Sox charities. To buy tickets, visit whitesoxcharities.org. And here are some pictures from Family Field Day last year. Always a great time at the ballpark.
I feel real good about this Abreu at bat. Last time up, he walked to lead off last inning and scored as Kennedy kind of pitched around him.
That's a smash foul left side.
He's now seeing the ball well. He did not see it well the first time up, and that particular at bat aggravated the big man. I would think an opportunity to put a little more daylight between our Sox and their Royals. Yolmer's got to be careful because Cuthbert very athletic, and Salvi likes to throw, especially behind on the trailer runner.
Yeah, he's very spry behind the plate, willing to jump up and shoot.
Yeah, it's no problem. We're going to see the best of the business of that when we go to St. Louis. Yadier Molina behind the left-hand hitters, throwing to first base on the trailing runner. He does it very well.
Oh, 2. Well, Kennedy slipped on that pitch. There's Abreu in the on-deck circle. Having a little fun with his hands.
Probably just loosening it up.
In the dirt, 2 balls, 2 strikes on Abreu.
Now the second pitch that was called a strike was inside, and after falling off the mound and then trying to throw one away, I would think he'd go back inside again.
Two and 2. Upstairs at 92, and Jose clips it foul.
Gutierrez that time was starting to settle inside. At the last instant, he jumped outside. Kennedy got it up, and Jose fouled it off.
Two balls, 2 strikes. In the air, middle infield. Infield fly, 2 down.
That was a good pitch because he got it right where he wanted it. He jammed Jose inside, and Jose could not get the hands out, so that battle went to Kennedy. Inside, tried to bring his hands in, but couldn't get him in quickly enough.
So the rally's up to Nicky Delmonico, who doubled in the 4th and eventually scored on the Palka 2-run double to right. Kansas City's bullpen up and going now with Kennedy laboring in the 5th.
Left-hander Brian Flynn, who we've seen warm up a number of times in this series and also make an appearance.
Left-hander Eric Stout sent back to AAA Omaha. Scott Barlow, who had been starting in AAA, was called up to replace him, so the Royals now have 2 lefties in the bullpen rather than 3.
Kennedy doing a little housekeeping around the mound.
One and 1. Called strike. Nice pitch.
That was a backdoor cutter, shaving off the outside corner. Ian Kennedy's had 1 clean inning. Hector Santiago's had no clean innings. Just the first inning, 3 strikeouts is the only 1-2-3 inning between both pitchers.
Yeah, the way he came out of the chute today, you thought, oh boy. But the Sox have taken the lead on a 1-out, 2-run double in the fourth from Daniel Palka. A lot of pitches for Ian Kennedy. 96 through 4 2/3. One-two. On the ground right side. Merrifield has to go to first, and that retires the side. Sox get a couple runners but can't score. We'll play bottom 5 after this.
Sox fans, you can check out the White Sox blog at WGNTV.com, presented by Nationwide's Jeff Vukovich. Go to jeffvuk.com or follow him on social media, because the big guy and Nationwide are on your side.
It's always good to know. Reassuring every game.
And now that I have the syntax down, it even sounds better.
Sure does.
And the tagline was actually where it should have been, right to be tagged at the end.
On the ground at third, Sanchez is on it. And Yolmer throws out Merrifield, one away.
Oh, it was hard hit as Merrifield bidding for his second hit. Hits it right at Yolmer, in at the cut of the grass to take away what might have been a bunt but wasn't. And an easy first out. Sox bullpen up and going as Hector knocking at the door of 80 pitches. Chris Volstead starting to loosen up.
Seen Chris at a starting capacity as well.
Last time out, he threw it exceptionally well.
Pop up third base side. Yolmer dodges the bag, makes the catch, and quickly 2 down. Four to third, 3 hits, 1 earned run in that last start for Volstad. He got out-dueled by Marco Gonzalez in the shadows of Guaranteed Rate Field, that 4-10 start last week during the homestand. Marco Gonzalez pitched well today in Cleveland for Seattle. innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, a walk, 4 strikeouts. It's hard to believe his ERA is 5.02 with what we saw last week.
Well, we also should try to figure out from Cincinnati how they hit Barrios.
Yeah, that's nonsense. His stuff, he's got the best, for my money, he's got the best stuff we've seen so far this year from an opponent.
And Cincinnati jumped all over him. They're winning that game against Minnesota in Minnesota 7-0. Barrios started it and apparently got clubbed. There you look at the defense and the kids with a souvenir. Look at the joy on the face of that young man.
That's why you come to the ballpark.
Exactly right. Merrifield's enjoying it, certainly.
To left field, base hit, 2-out single for Salvador Perez. Hey, Sox fans and school teachers, Weather Day presented by WGN TV is May 24th. The Sox take on the Orioles, 1:10 p.m. Prior to the game, join WGN TV's chief meteorologist Tom Skilling for a fun presentation including weather videos, trivia, and more. For more information and to buy tickets, visit whitesox.com/WGN. And it looks like that is going to be all for Hector Santiago. 4 2/3 in this game. And Ricky Renteria comes to get the baseball. Chris Volstad was loosening up in the Sox bullpen, and he will come out to face Jorge Soler when we come back.
He's got the lead. On for the 7th time. His ERA at 3.75. Opponent's batting average at 2.67. He's got to face one of their hottest hitters, Jorge Soler, who has not looked too good here today, striking out twice. He just didn't see it at all from Hector, who was brilliant. Now it's up to Chris to protect it.
All you can really ask out of a bullpen day with Hector Santiago's longest outing of the year being 3 1/3. Volstad now can come in and soak up some innings.
Yeah, he did just a great job getting the Sox where they needed to be.
3 balls and no strikes.
And Soler probably has the green light on 3-0. Because he is one of their home run threats. Despite only having 2 of them, he's just getting his opportunity to play. And he can sting the baseball.
Sox in game 1 of this series were winners by the count of 6-3. Then 7-4 in game 2, 8-0 in doubleheader game 1 yesterday, and then a 5-2 loss yesterday in game 2. Polka charging in, slides and can't make the catch. Perez gets to third. 2 out, rally for the Royals.
That's a base hit. The wind batted that ball down. Normally, with the wind not howling out toward left center field, Daniel's going to be able to make that play. But as he kept charging, the wind kept knocking it down, and he got a glove on it, but could not secure it. And in this game, unlike football, the ground can cause a fumble.
So Don Cooper uses one of his trips to the mound to talk to Volstad in the infield and about, you would assume, how to pitch Chesler Cuthbert. So we'll see what the decision on how to pitch to Cuthbert is after the meeting.
Cuthbert hit it hard last time, got it up in the wind. He doesn't get a chance to play too much because his natural position is the one that Moustakas plays.
To left field, Delmonico back at the warning track, and it's gone. Second time today, Chesler Cuthbert goes deep.
This one very costly. Got up in the breeze. He didn't hit it all that well, but hit it well enough. We told you about the wind tunnel out toward left and left center field. Second home run of the day, second home run of the year. He got one down and gone. He's driven in 6. And Nicky runs out of room. And the Sox have been chased out of the lead. It's a 4-2 game with KC on top.
Abreu with the dive, Volstad the cover, and nicely done there. But Chesler Cuthbert has been a big trouble spot today. His first 2 hits of the series are homers.
by Meyer. True Chicago fans.
Sox need to make it a comeback as Chesler Cuthbert goes deep to give the Royals the lead. And the new pitcher on for Kansas City, Brian Flynn.
There you look at the numbers. They've been pretty good on for the 9th time. We've seen him in the series. He throws it well.
It's a Kansas City bullpen that has struggled at points this year, but the hope for Ned Yost is that that would stop. The hope for the Sox dugout is can bleed a couple more off the Royals bullpen before this series ends. Five innings for Ian Kennedy, the 2 earned runs. He did strike out 6. He walked 2. Trace Thompson has grabbed a bat with the lefty on the mound. Daniel Palka looks like his day is done. Ball 4 called, so Davidson catches a break on that leadoff walk.
Sox fans, you can visit WGNTV.com and click on the Game Zone for the latest stats and information. UI Health, from comprehensive stroke care to a world-class transplant team, UI Healthcare is changing medicine for good. Visit uihealth.care.
So it is Trace Thompson in for Palka. Ricky Renteria goes to the bench here in the 6th to get the lefty-righty matchup. Daniel drove in the Sox 2 runs in the 4th. One and one. We mentioned Daniel Palka got that home run ball back. He was in the clubhouse for a moment during the game yesterday, and he saw that a young girl had caught the ball, and he thought, oh, well, there's a chance, I won't get the ball back. And then he came back into the dugout a little while later, and the security guard had said to him, that was posted in the Sox dugout, said, hey, we got that ball back for you. So evidently there was a trade for the young lady. Got some Royal stuff, and Daniel Palka got his baseball. But for a while he thought, there's a chance I might not get it back.
He'll hit a few more, but you always like to have that first one. I'm still looking for that.
Three balls and a strike on Trace Thompson. Palka out of the ball game from this spot. Now 3-2. Daniel Palka wearing number 18, and here are some luminaries who have worn number 8, including Claudell Washington and Pat Kelly.
They were both outfielders for me.
Inside, ball 4. Couple of borderline walks on 3-2 pitches, and the Sox will certainly take it. So 2 on, nobody out.
Good take by Thompson. That one right off the inside corner, and Flynn, a king-size left-hander at 6'7". Last year spent most of the year in AAA. briefly, ever so briefly, here with Kansas City. Just one game.
Tim Anderson, who loves swinging it against left-handers, a ground ball to third. And that is a double play. Moustakas to Cuthbert. In a big spot for Kansas City. They turn 2 against Anderson like they did twice last night.
Heads up play by Moustakas, who's got a strong arm. He realized he couldn't go to second base. He whirls around and fires it and gets him. Only question is, would Cuthbert keep his foot on the bag? Jerry Lane said yes, he did.
Looked like he did.
Yeah, and then the grand scheme of things, that is a big play. So it's up to Lurie Garcia to be able to drive home a run and salvage this inning, which looks so promising with a couple of walks.
Check swing, no go. Ball 1. Kansas City's bullpen starting again.
Scott Barlow. He's the latest addition to that bullpen. In fact, today before the game he was activated.
Very latest. Up to the minute bullpen activity. We've had some, as that ball is hit well left center field. John Jay can't get there. Sox will get a run. Garcia drives it in. He's on the afterburners into third. It's an RBI triple.
Over the years, Kansas City has had very fast men in what has been and is one of the most spacious outfields in baseball. John Jay is a good center fielder. He just does not have the blazing speed, and he couldn't catch up to this one. It's a one-run game, and a big at bat by Lurie because the Sox will not come up empty in this inning that looks so promising and now has yielded at least one run.
Second triple of this series for Leury Garcia, and that's a big block from Butera with the tying run suddenly at third.
Two mics looking on in Scottsdale, Arizona. Enjoying a lovely Sunday afternoon. One, a big Sox fan. That's Chicago Mike. The other delusional. That's Boston Mike.
So good to your friends. Of course, those are ironic nicknames.
Especially because Boston Mike is not from Boston.
It's inside 2-1 on Omar.
Omar had a very good at bat last time up, leading off the fifth inning. Ian Kennedy left with the lead. It's a precarious lead at this point. One run shaved off it.
Rarely do you see Omar swinging a pitch like that out of the zone. He does that time. 2-2. It's in the dirt. Garcia thought about it, but it didn't trickle far enough away.
Nice job by Butera, because this easily could have gotten by. We'll take another look as Drew saves a run, which would be in the tying run. He drops down, has that ball trickle away, has to push his way by his counterpart, Omar. And Lurie thought for a minute he had some daylight, but didn't bound away far enough.
Second base side, and this will do it. So the Sox do draw a little bit closer on the triple from Garcia. It's 4-3 after 5.5.
The next 3 are the 2 in St. Louis and then home to play the Twins in a 4-game series. That's the first one of them. So our Ram upcoming schedule brought to you by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Trace Thompson comes in the game to draw a walk, to score a run, and now plays right field.
It's up to the bullpens in game number 5 of this series. Chris Volstad to Alex Gordon. A breaking ball strike starts him off. Kansas City with all of its runs since the 4th inning started, with a solo shot from Cheslor Cuthbert, 1 out in the 4th, and then a 3-run homer in the 5th for Cuthbert. Now a ball and 2 strikes on Gordon, who walked in the 4th. Kansas City is certainly not the most patient team in Major League Baseball, entering this series last in walks, but 6 through 9 in the order, has all 3 walks this afternoon. Inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Three and 2 from Volstad.
Alex Gordon's starting to pick it up after coming back off the disabled list.
And he grounds it into left field. On 3 and 2, a base hit for Gordon. Yeah, better at bat, certainly.
Yeah, and he's grinding out the at-bats now. And also, when he goes to left and left center field, he's starting to feel it. That's not good news for the Central. Sox will see them, as Jason told you earlier, 3 times in a 5-week period at our ballpark. 1 more trip left to Kansas City, so there's a lot of the Royals left on the Sox schedule.
I think Gordon took a dive and then a sigh over to first. He was leaning a little bit and was happy he got back. Bunt, third base side of the mound. Sanchez is in on it, and nicely done to cross in front to make the play. Gordon to second. Escobar gets him there.
He'll probably get a sacrifice for that. He was bunting for a base hit. He just bunted it too hard. And Escobar will do this on occasion, but Yomer right there to make the play easily. And on the play, Gordon moves into scoring position.
There's ball 1 on Drew Butera, who's yet to put a ball in play. He walked in the 3rd, struck out in the 4th.
That was indeed a sacrifice.
That's a really tough one to decipher for an official scorer, any official scorer.
Yeah,
it's tough to figure out intent of a bunt.
But I think you're gonna, especially in a 1-run game. Now, if it's 8-0, a different story. But in a 1-run game, you're going to give him the benefit of the doubt all the time. But he was bunting for a hit.
1 and 2 from Volstad to Butera with Merrifield on deck. Sox have won the series already. It's just a matter of by how much. In the dirt, Gordon is into 3rd.
Heads up base running by Alex Gordon, because he took off when he saw that ball hit in the dirt and realized it was going to carry him far away from Omar. Narvaez trying to keep it in front of him, but good heads up play Good base running by Alex Gordon. He's not exceptionally fast, but he is fast enough, and good anticipation got him in rather easily.
Infield in now for the Sox with 1 out and a 1-run game.
That wild pitch makes it a whole lot easier for Buchera to hit, because with everybody in, and they can't play all that far back because Gordon does have decent speed, so they're in right at the cut of the grass.
A little bit high, ball 4. For the second time today, the Royals 9-hitter walks.
Don Cooper on the phone. He wants more activity in the pen.
Coops his weight. Don't go out. We'll see if that means wait for the batter or wait for one more pitch. There's a strike.
Pen is up and going. Luis Avilan loosening up in a hurry.
That's exactly what you want. Anderson, Moncada, double play. Perfect timing, perfect turn. Inning over.
For 10-4. They're not doing it with hitting, but they are scoring 5.6 runs a game. So the batting average is not great, but the runs are, and the ERA terrific at 3.10, and opponent's batting average at 2.29. That's one of the reasons why they're playing as well as they are. Toyota, let's go places.
Yeah, like to home plate one more time at least to tie the game.
Moncada will turn around, hit from the right side. See if he can solve Brian Flynn. Or if Brian Flynn can solve the strike zone, which has been eluding him.
2 walks in the 6th inning. Barry plants strike 1. Yohan 1 for 3. He's got 7 hits in the series, including a home run.
Just in case he gets in any trouble, Kevin McCarthy, who we've seen a couple of times in the series, getting ready, and McCarthy has thrown well in the 2 times we've seen him.
Check swing, ball to the backstop. So 3-1 on Yohan Moncada. Certainly a leadoff walk might mean you'd think about sending him and seeing what his speed can provide in terms of havoc. Moncada tags this ball to right field, and a diving play by Soler. Unreal grab by Jorge Soler saves the day for Kansas City.
That's at least 2 bases if he doesn't make the play, and this is a great effort. Moncada reaches out, hits it well, catches it off the end of the bat, and Soler off to the races. Good break, good recognition, and takes it right off the top of the grass. Boy, that's just a great catch. Complete sellout. And the ball sticks in the glove and stays there. What a play.
Got a strong chance that that's a triple if he doesn't make the catch. And now Sanchez takes ball number 1.
That one could turn out to be one of the biggest plays of the game. So Soler, all of his talents on display in this series, shows you why the Royals still believe at 26 years old he's got a good shot.
There have been some ups and downs, certainly in the series and in his career and all of that, but a whale of a play to rescue the game for Kansas City, at least for now.
You would think McCarthy would come on one way or the other to face Abreu.
You know, some days it's difficult to figure out what the key play of the game or the turning point of the game. Sometimes it's really buried in there. If the Royals win this game, you've got it.
Yeah, you look back at that one and say that play certainly saved them the lead at this point. So whether he's at second or third in this inning, he's most likely going to score.
Two and two. On the ground back behind the mound. Merrifield has to hustle, and he does nip Sanchez for round number 2.
Good solid play by Whit Merrifield, and that's the difference between right and left-handed hitting, because from the left side he beats it. From the right side he gets caught by a half step, and a fine play by Merrifield, who has to avoid the bag and throw across his body to make the play.
He's not going to be your first overall draft pick, but at some point you get into rounds 5 or 6 and you start looking at the board with Merrifield still there, you grab him real fast.
Now he's a good player with a sky-high baseball acumen.
Strike 1 to Abreu.
Ned Yost elects to go and stay with the left-hander instead of McCarthy.
It's interesting.
Might be thinking of Delmonico, but got to get by Abreu first.
Flynn's ahead, 0-2. Sox will be off to St. Louis after the game. Off day tomorrow. Game 1 of 2 Tuesday. 7:15 and 12:15. Middle of the country likes to do the quarter after starts.
Yeah. Can you see more commercials?
1-2.
Cleveland has gone down once again to Seattle. Seattle starting to put things together. They're 16-11. They clubbed the Tribe today 10-4. Out hit them 14-8.
I don't think you want to be in the AL West this year.
No, it's loaded. Absolutely loaded.
Abreu gets hit. Or did it hit him in the bat?
No, that hit him.
That did get him.
And he's just.
He was just waiting to gather himself.
He's just trying to stop the throbbing. He first looked out at Flynn, then realized it's a one-run game. You're certainly not going to hit him here. And that got him, and that one hurt.
Yeah, right in the side. Ball one to Delmonico, doubled and scored in the fourth. And Jose now with hit by pitch number 62 in his career, number 6 this season already.
Yeah, he's right on top of the plate, and let's face it, you can't throw him out over the plate, so everybody tries to go inside on him, and when they do, he gets hit a lot, and he's not padded up on that lead elbow, which is cause for concern. But talked to Jose about it, and he said he just doesn't feel comfortable doing it. He's always done it the way he's doing it now, and he'll continue to do that. But it does leave that elbow out there precariously. With Flynn having all kinds of problems with his command this afternoon, let's see if Nicky can take advantage of it.
Jose, by the way, is 10th all time in Sox hits by a pitch. 62. Manny Minoso will never be caught at 145 career.
Let's hope that he'll never be caught.
That's true. Should be a Hall of Famer.
There's no doubt about it. See if that gets rectified as we move a few years further.
Throw down to second. Jose is in there safely. So a man who can sneak a stolen base every once in a while gets in scoring position.
And when you get hit and you have the ability to do this, he's going on first move, and Flynn never believes that Jose's going, and he makes it rather easily. Nice play by Butera, but there's no outs on the third base side of second if you're a catcher. If you're going to miss, you miss on the first base side of second.
Now Jose scampers off his second base and draws Flynn's attention.
Boy, channeling Ricky Henderson.
Yeah, my goodness. Two and two. Into right field. Soler is not going to get this one, and the Sox have tied the game. Nicky Delmonico, lefty, tags the ball to right, and we're deadlocked at 4. Hey, Nicky.
2 doubles for Delmonico. He now has 6 driven in, but credit Jose Abreu with some heads-up base running, because other than that, it's still a 4-3 game. So Nicky gets a breaking ball, and then he's off to the races. And Ned Yost will come out and remove Flynn from the game, and Kevin McCarthy, who was warming up, and he elected not to bring him in. Turns out to cost him the tie. And McCarthy comes trotting in. Flynn departs, and Nicky Delmonico having quite a day.
Yes, he is. Couple of extra base hits for the Sox, 2 for 4 after a pinch hit RBI last night in game number 2. And we told you about Eloy Jimenez with his home run that he hit yesterday for the AA Birmingham Barons. We talked to Steve McCaddy, the pitching coach for Charlotte, in game yesterday. He's been teaching Michael Kopech in the minors, and Michael, during the offseason, talked about his year in 2017 and what he needs to work on this season as he tries to get to the big leagues.
I mean, obviously the first half of my season I had quite a few walks, and I figured it out the second half, but I would like to, at least cut those walks in half in the upcoming season. Throw my changeup more, and throw it more with conviction, throw it more for strikes. There were just opportunities where I should have used stuff and I didn't last season, and it showed in the stat line at the end of the game. So for me to kind of better myself as a pitcher going into this year, I feel like it would be a big step for me.
Michael Kopech and his flowing locks, with 1 hit allowed in his last start in 6 innings in AAA. And we will see him at some point here in the majors.
He's an overwhelming pitcher. The secondary stuff is all that's keeping him out of the major leagues, and the fact that he's very young is Kevin McCarthy on for the 8th time. He's 1-0. His ERA 4.25. There you look at the numbers. Batting average against, a high number at 333. Go-ahead run out at second base. He's got to deal with Matt Davidson, who's been quiet over the last couple of games after just tearing it up the first 3 games of the series.
Davidson with the lead run at second base. Breaking ball, check swing. He did go, says the first base umpire, Jerry Lane. Oh, and 1. That's in there for strike 2.
Conditions clouding up just a bit here, making visibility for the infielders and outfielders on fly balls and pop-ups a whole lot better.
Yeah, Alex Gordon really struggled with a ball in the second inning that eventually was ruled an error after initially signaled a triple. He's fighting the sun the whole way, and now with the overcast skies starting to develop, that won't happen again, you'd imagine. He did everything right. I mean, his sunglasses down.
There was not, at the time, there was not a cloud in the sky.
0-2. Matt stays alive. A beautiful vista here in Kansas City.
And now you can see some contrast. Now it's a whole lot easier. Gordon doesn't even have his sunglasses on.
Very close, 1-2. Downstairs, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Matt Davidson has been much more patient this year. Let's see if he can find his way clear to a pitch that he can hit. Up and in. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, he did get a pitch that almost hit him. And the first stolen base of the year for Jose Abreu. Stolen base number 1 turns into gold as the Sox tie it up. Just a terrific heads-up play, running on first move of Brian Flynn and making it easily into second base.
3-2 is outside, ball 4. Davidson comes back from down 0-2 to draw his 2nd straight walk. And it's up to Trace Thompson. Boy, this inning started so promising. Moncada just bashed a ball to right field. Soler stole at least a double, maybe a triple from him on a diving grab. And then suddenly, with 2 out, Abreu gets hit. He steals a base, and Nicky Delmonico ties the game. Whit Merrifield as well with a nice play on the Sanchez ground ball out as Trace takes a high breaking ball for a strike. Oh, and 1. Check swing foul, 0-2. 2 on, 2 out. Yanked foul by Thompson in for Daniel Palka, who doubled in 2 in the 4th. Oh, 2. Trace stays alive again, just brushing it foul.
That was too close to take, and Trace at the last instant pretty much took it out of Butera's glove. That was an emergency hack that kept the at bat alive. Take a look at it. He just decides he cannot risk getting rung up.
That one a little further down, so he takes 1 and 2. Trace Thompson, who's certainly bounced around this year, spent a very brief time with Oakland and then picked up by the Sox right after the team left Oakland. Trace made a lot of friends very quickly in the Bay Area. Ground ball just wide of third. Sox got 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 6th, 1 here in the 7th. And Kansas City's bullpen, which has had difficulty locking down games, is what the Sox face for the remainder of this day. 1-2. Hard hit toward the Sox dugout.
That scattered a few folks down there.
I was going to say, we mentioned how many friends Trace made in the Bay Area. That's not exactly the way to ingratiate yourself to your new teammates, some of whom you knew before.
Well, fortunately, the netting down there saved a whole lot of people some problems. Used to not have it. Now you do, and there's protection.
One and 2. Fouled away right side. Great at bat from Trace Thompson. Here's the ball and what it created. James Shields.
I would think so. The man they call Grandpa.
Grandpa fell and he couldn't get up. Check swing, ball down, no go. 2 and 2.
This is a good battle. Trace Thompson fouling off some really tough pitches, and McCarthy finds himself even in the count.
First fastball he saw was pitch number 4. Number 10 is coming. Left side of the infield, Escobar. And that'll do it for the Sox in the 7th. But Sox tie the game. Nicky Delmonico drives in Abreu. Discount Furniture. Shop in-store or online at mybobs.com. Dare to compare. Outfield assists in terms of games played. Fairly close. Javi Garcia and Alex Gordon, 54 in his career. Avi, I should say, 35, 2015 to 2017, and then Gordon 54 from 2011 to 2013 in 463 games. So that's your pair to compare, brought to you by Bob's Discount Furniture in a tie ball game at Kauffman Stadium. Chris Volstad to the bottom of the 7th with a 4-4 deadlock thanks to Jose Abreu's base running and Nicky Delmonico's swinging. Volstad came in the 5th inning and was greeted by a 3-run homer from Cheslor Cuthbert. Jorge Soler with a base hit, then Cuthbert a 3-run homer, and 3 hits allowed by Volstad in relief of Hector Santiago. But a brand new game into the 7th. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you. Thanks for joining us on this beautiful Sunday afternoon in the Midwest. Teams have already played extras on Friday night in this ballpark. Sox were winners in 11 on a Matt Davidson home run. Volstad, first pitch, breaks in the dirt.
This looks to be a tough inning as Chris Volstad has to go through the heart of the order, leading off with a guy who's swinging it well. Knocking at the door at 300 is Mike Moustakas.
He takes a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Moustakas is single on the infield in the 1st with the shift on. Sanchez being the only player on that side of the infield as he is now. Right side base hit. Time now for Sticks and Stone, brought to you by Volkswagen. Visit your local Volkswagen dealer or VWdealer.com. What former catcher and World Series MVP was a 190 career hitter against you?
That would have to be Darryl Porter. Well, it doesn't have to be, but
could be.
That's kind of obscure enough to be Darryl Porter. He had a short stroke, was a good hitter, wide open stance. Steve Yeager actually appealed a play where I got a base hit up the middle and said there was pine tar on the label of the bat. So I hope you didn't pick him. I still dislike him from that.
He appealed a play in which a pitcher had a hit?
Yes, what happened was I got a base hit up the middle and I had pine tar on my gloves. I grabbed the bat a little too high and he had noticed it, and I got a base hit up the middle, putting runners at 1st and 3rd against Bert Hooton, and he appealed it and they called me out.
Did they really?
Yes. I would have hit 103. I'm still bitter.
That is pretty ridiculous, actually.
Well, I mean, look, you got the call, and Bert Hooton went on to win 12 games in a row. That was the 3rd of his wins. He might have lost that. It was a 1-run game, and runners at 1st and 3rd with only 1 out in the inning. So you never know, but he got the appeal and he won it. But I can hardly remember back that far. That was blasted well foul. Perez is an ideal man for 2. He also has not only a nose-to-toe strike zone, but he has it about 30 inches wide. He will pretty much swing at anything.
Oh, 2. Through the right side base hit. That's the problem with him swinging at anything. Sometimes he does that to you.
But we're pretty sure this would be a tough inning, and it has shaped up to be just that. So he reaches out. That's a pretty good curveball by Chris Volstad, but when you have that kind of strike zone, you're liable to put the bat on the ball and turn it into gold, and Perez did just that.
5th hit allowed by Volstad. And now Soler, who had the first of those in the 5th. Not only can he get a hit, he can also make bunny ears with his shoes.
Soler has yet to ground into a double play.
All right, here's your answer for Sticks and Stone, brought to you by Volkswagen. Is it Darrell Porter? Yes, indeed.
I love the glasses.
That is a great look.
Yep. Surprising because he was a left-hand hitter with a short stroke. I have no idea how he didn't hit me better.
Steve also wins today's self-deprecation award.
No, I mean, his type of hitter gave me some problems, and for some reason he didn't see the ball well, I guess.
One. That's ball 2 on Soler. Cheslor Cuthbert looming, the guy with 2 home runs in this game. Thought only Sox players were allowed to have multi-homer games in this ballpark.
Kansas City is not a powerful ball club, but we told you about this day. This day makes a lot of people powerful if you can get it up in left field.
Our bright sunny day's going away, Uncle Steve.
It has that, much to the delight of the outfielders and infielders on high pop-ups.
Two balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Sox got a double play when they needed it in the 6th from Whit Merrifield. Can Soler do it as well? This is foul right side, and he'll need a new weapon.
Sox bullpen up and going. For the second time, Luis Avilan, and he is getting ready for Jay and Gordon, who are set after Cuthbert, who's after the man in the batter's box, Jorge Soler.
Two and 2. Foul.
That's very nice.
Aw. To cherish forever.
I don't think he's giving it up anytime soon.
No.
That is one of life's great moments, getting a souvenir at the ballpark.
To right again. Thompson's up with it and a stop sign at third for Moustakas. 3 straight hits in the 7th inning to load the bases.
We'll take another look. Soler's had a good series, and this is a good at bat. He doesn't try to do too much with it, pokes it into right field. No chance to score Moustakas. Now with the bases loaded and nobody out. Now you have the hottest hitter on the planet the last 2 at bats.
Tough to beat back-to-back homers.
That's it. Maybe a ground ball right back at Chris Volstead for a 1-2-3. Abreu's coming home. Sanchez is coming home. There's a very good chance in the middle infield. You're probably not going to get 2 if you come home, so you might want to think about it, although they are in the middle.
Crushed down the left field side and foul, and a nice scoop.
Our 4th drive of the game came in the 5th inning. It's a 3-run bomb. The 2nd of the day for Cheslor Cuthbert. 101.4 exit velocity. It's a towering fly ball taken out by the wind, but very effective. And visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com.
1-1. Outside, 2 balls and a strike. Well, Cuthbert hit the first homer on this count at 2-1. Next time it was first pitch ambush.
Cuthbert does not have big speed, so it could very well be that they would try to come home and try the home to first double play.
Called a strike.
That is a tremendous break. Jordan Baker's had an excellent game behind the plate, and this one is well wide of the plate.
Nice catch by Omar.
Omar eased it back into the zone and sold the call.
Two and two. On the ground, Yolmer at third. Does come home to get one, and that's all. But the double play now can end the inning and would.
You'd have to think it'd be Avilan against Jay. Assuming that Jay is going to hit if the change is made. And here comes Ricky. He's going to make the change, and you can only get one. Slow developing play. Nice play by Yolmer, smothering a hit, a hop that was off the grass, and no chance on the throw. That one is not as easy as it looked as the ball skidded. And they do get the one out. Bases remain loaded. Chris Volstead will depart. And as he does, so will we.
We'll be back.
Luis Avilan comes into the ball game. He's going to face John Jay. Abraham Almonte is a switch hitter, but he doesn't hit right-handed very well. All of his production has come from the left side, so that would not be an option for Ned Yost. He's got Duda on the bench, a left-hander. Goins on the bench, a left-hander. And so it's Jay against Avilan, with the game quite possibly on the line here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Infield still in.
John Jay 0 for 2 with a line out back to Santiago in the 4th and a ground ball to the right side to end the 5th.
Big advantage on a fly ball. Perez can't run, and he's at third.
Soler at second, Cuthbert at first.
Arms very good in center and right. Leury's got a cannon in center field. Could come into play.
Tapper out in front of the plate. Omar keeps his foot on the plate and makes the catch. Out number 2. This could not have gone any better for the first 2 outs. Certainly still not out of the woods, but 2 down.
That squibbed off the end of the bat. It's a fastball, and Luis, realizing that the main priority is make the good solid throw. Omar then does not want to risk throwing it away. There really is no play at first base. So he takes the out and waits to see if Soler maybe rounds the bag at third, which he didn't.
Ball in the dirt to Gordon.
That hit right off the throwing hand of Omar, and now he's taking a look at it. Catchers do take a beating. And that one's still singing to him, but he waved Luis to come on and throw it. Catchers have to learn how to ignore the pain or just eat it.
In the dirt again, 2-0.
What a play that was. Anytime a ball bounces in front of the plate or on the plate, you've got some problems if you're behind the plate. And Omar, the last line of defense, that's a tough ball to handle. He didn't try to catch it. He angled his body, made sure it didn't get by him. That's an outstanding effort.
There they are, loaded. Soler, Cuthbert, and Jay. 2-0. Avilan to Gordon. Nowhere to go now. 3 balls, no strikes. This is a take big time, right?
He's taken here and he's swinging at the next one, assuming this is in the zone.
Three and 0. Right there. So now what's your pitch on 3-1?
His comfort pitch is a breaking ball, but I think he's got to go with the fastball. You got 7 men behind you and 1 in front of you to try to defend this pitch, and it's got to be in the zone, so there's no margin for error.
3 balls and a strike. A breaking ball for strike 2.
That was the short. That was the slider. That was the short little cutter or slider, and he froze Gordon on it. Good pitch. Right there, and Gordon, how can he throw me that in that situation? You can't guess it, and he can't hit it.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Bases loaded, tie game. Avilan. We'll do it again.
Early in the season, before Gordon was swinging it well, he's out right now. But he prolongs the at-bat. It was a nice job of going out and getting what he was sure was in the zone. Moncada way back on the grass. As you see the base runners, they're all going.
3-2. Another foul from Gordon.
That was another one of those cutters. He feels comfortable with it, and he's gotten it in the zone a couple of big times. Eighth pitch of the at-bat.
Three and 2. Avilan to Gordon. He struck him out. It's a Team El Duque. Bases loaded, nobody out. Sox get it done. We're still deadlocked. RBI Baseball 18 delivers an all-new franchise mode, and much more. RBI Baseball 18 is available now. Learn more at rbigame.com. Rated E for everyone. And everyone exhales as the Sox wriggle out of a bases-loaded straitjacket in the 7th.
A couple of tappers and a strikeout on ball 4.
How about a homer for Tim?
Well, he's thinking about hitting it hard because he's had kind of a tough one today.
Double play ball in the 6th, strikeout in the 4th, fly out in the 2nd. Escobar. The Royals, by the way, in this series have left rafts of runners. Just boatloads of base runners. 11, 10, 8, 9, and 9 today already.
We certainly don't want to get to the situation where you're run down going into the 9th inning. So this against McCarthy becomes a crucial inning. And Lurie with an RBI triple in the 6th.
Steve, that's 47 runners left on in 5 games. It's more than 9 per.
Well, you're liable to go 6-20 like that.
Base hit. Moustakas drawn in, and Garcia a 1-out single.
He just takes it to left field and then smacks Cuthbert on the back at first base, and now you got a running situation with the left-hander up.
Two hits for Garcia, 8 in the series, so a nice job getting untracked here in Kansas City for Leury Garcia at 8 for 19. Omar fouls it away. His base hit in the 5th came on the first pitch. He is 1 for 3.
Outfield dead straight away. And Omar loves to hit the ball to left and left center field.
Yeah, if he would pick somewhere to pitch him, it would be out there, and he could just stroke it to left.
Bullpen up and going. Blaine Boyer.
Well, even if this doesn't turn out to be a save situation for Blaine Boyer, he has had one save situation so far this year for the Kansas City Royals. That was on the road in Toronto. Omar smokes his bat, and John Jay is there for out number 2. Blaine Boyer, when the Royals were in Toronto and had that game postponed because of the ice falling from Rogers Center and from the CN Tower, a piece of ice fell on the Blue Jays, on the Royals team bus in Toronto. So the Royals are on the bus. A piece of ice falls on the windshield, cracks the windshield. The glass from the windshield hits the bus driver, and so he can't control the wheel. Boyer comes to the front of the bus and grabs the steering wheel.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That's pretty scary.
Over shortstop into left. Moncada with a base hit. Garcia is into third. So Sox take the extra base. First and third, 2 down in the 8th.
Moncada takes that one out of the strike zone and dumps it into left field, and Liuri with great speed easily into third base. And now the go-ahead run 90 feet away. The importance of that, you keep Kelvin Herrera out of the game, which is, after all, the game plan against the Royals, because nobody's doing anything with him.
Sox were fortunate on Friday night, had the tie, so you force Herrera into an extra inning situation. He only pitches the 1 inning, and the Royals go deeper into the bullpen. Sox eventually win.
I wonder if Moncada goes here. Put some pressure on Butera.
Doesn't, and Yolmer fouls it away.
With the rain starting to fall, Bruce Rondon loosening into pen. Hard throwing right-hander's been getting that slider over, and because of that, he's been throwing it pretty well.
0-2. Flip to left. Gordon for out number 3. Sox threaten, can't score. Bottom 8 coming next. to request your complimentary injury screening and have your pain or injury assessed by our experts for free. Athletico, the official physical therapy provider of the Chicago White Sox. Athletico, better for everybody.
Bruce Rondon comes into this one on for the 8th time. He's 1-0. The ERA at 6.23. But opponent's batting average at 200, which shows you a couple of different things. That his season, ERA-wise, was spoiled by one outing, and that guys are not hitting him very well. When Bruce gets it over, he's very difficult to deal with.
He'll face the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. Although Kansas City does have the big, powerful left-hand bat on the bench, Lucas Duda, at the beck and call of Ned Yost.
Gonna watch the first pitch with Escobar because he loves it.
He does. Slider, he didn't.
No, you don't like a slider, not in that location, not at 88. But a wise choice to a guy who's a notorious first ball fastball hitter.
On 0-1. He might have gone. Yes, he did.
That ball was well off the plate, and Jerry Lane felt he went a little too far, and he did.
Luis Avilan went 2/3 of an inning. Bruce, you're going to quick pitch. Tell me first, and I won't go into the pitching line. 2/3 of an inning. Got the ground ball from Jay in front of the plate, then the strikeout from Gordon. Another quick pitch. Escobar got hit. Yep.
When you get hit with a fastball that rides up and in that hard, it's going to take a while. And with so many small bones in the hand, you see where it hit him. It looked like it hit him on the knuckle of the ring finger. He's going to ask him to squeeze his hand to see how much strength he's got in it. This is a guy that is the Iron Man of baseball right now.
Alcides Escobar, former All-Star starter, came into this series with 355 consecutive starts.
As soon as he felt some strength in the hand, he said, okay, go to first base, and that's what he was testing for. We'll watch it again as he buzzes him in. That one catches the hand, and that is the potential winning run and the go-ahead run at first base with nobody out. Gutierrez is a good bunter, and you would think in this situation Ned Yost is going to ask him to lay it down. Joe McEwing is already pointing at both Sanchez and Abreu. Watch the bunt, because you would think it's forthcoming. What is a good play, and you might see from Escobar, is a run and bunt. He's got a good lead at first.
Up and in, and that gets away, so Escobar gets the base without the bunt.
Well, he's going to be bunting here also. Only the bunt changes, because the bunt now will go toward third base. The fans are booing, which is really not a great thing, because they should be cheering this. The go-ahead run out at second base on a couple of pitches that got away from Rondon. Goes to the pass ball.
Corner is still in, bunt popped up, and the Sox take that certainly.
Well, not only did Butera pop it up, but then he didn't run, and that ball was in fair territory. So if you do that, if you drop the head of the bat, you're going to pop it straight up, and you can't go with the "oh, woe is me" philosophy, because he dropped the head. Now he doesn't run at all. That ball is in fair territory, and Drew is beside himself. So a big play not executed, And Escobar stays at second base.
Whit Merrifield. Moustakas on deck. 4-4 tie. Rondon on the mound. Sox in the ninth have Abreu, Delmonico, and Davidson scheduled. '96 swung through. 1 ball, 1 strike. Royals had bases loaded, nobody out in the 7th, and the Sox worked through it. Volstad and Avilan got the 3 outs on the infield and a strikeout. 1-1. That's through. Base hit. Garcia's throw, not in time. Kansas City leads 5-4. Merrifield does it.
Second base hit of the day. 8th run driven in. And Whit Merrifield gets a fastball out over the plate, takes it back into center field. And a good solid throw just off the mark, and Escobar scores, and he's still going to feel that hand because I'm not sure it's 100%. They will take a look at it after the game. Hopefully he's all right. But he has scored the go-ahead run, and that means Herrera will be present in this one, and the Royals fans ecstatic with the go-ahead run late.
Yeah, the activating of Herrera with a lead is the worst part of that base hit. Rondon had 2 strikes on Escobar. The hit by pitch comes back to nip him. Now Moustakas, who's got 2 hits in the game. There goes the runner.
No
Easy
chance.
steal.
Yeah, the thing was, I mean, Merrifield is so good, so heads up that he knew Rondon wasn't looking at him. He had probably a 4-step jump. And wisely, Moustakas didn't even think about it. Take a look at that jump. It's impossible to throw anybody out with that. And Bruce has got to tighten that up because that is an insurance run. Standing out there now at second base. You saw Moustakas. He realized the jump. He just stepped out. He was going to take that regardless. Heads up play by Merrifield, who once again has tormented the Sox.
Double play out of order as well. Slider for a strike. Well, look, Sox have some power bats coming up. Abreu, Delmonico, Davidson. So if you keep it at 1 run, you're in the market for 1 swing against Herrera. No swings have been terribly good against him so far this year, but
you got a much better chance though if 1 long ball can get you a tie.
Oh, 2. Upstairs with a fastball for out number 2 in the inning.
Good place for Moustakas. High heat at 95. He can't catch up to it. You see where Narvaez wants it? That's exactly where Rondon threw it.
Salvador Perez. 2 hits his last 2 at bats, including a single that led to a run scored in the 5th. Down the line and left and foul.
For those of you who are old enough to remember Louis Tiant, Bruce Rondon just showed a little bit of what they called him at the time, Little Latin Louis. He was not a big man, but he threw 100 miles an hour and routinely showed his number to the hitters. He had a 1.60 ERA in 1968 to lead the American League for the Cleveland Indians.
Ground ball up the middle. Tim is there, and that will do it. Don't even know if Bruce was doing that intentionally. He just thought, you know what, let me look at the base runner. Run in for Kansas City. Sox need 1 to tie, 2 to take the lead.
Got a new pitcher in the ball game, and it's not Herrera. It is Blaine Boyer. And when you look at those numbers, you're happy Herrera is wherever he is. On for the 9th time is Boyer. He does have a hold, but opponent's batting average, a robust .432. The whip at .288. And that is not good. So Ryan Goins, who's a defensive wizard, normally at second base, checks in at shortstop. Duda comes in at first. He's picked it really well in this series at first base. Escobar leaves, and hopefully he's going to be okay.
Blaine Boyer, who the Sox got for 3 runs on opening day. On the mound to face Abreu first. For ball 1. Part of that opening day barrage on Boyer was a home run for Matt Davidson, who bats 3rd in this inning. A strike on the outer 3rd.
Boyer is a short armer who's been around for a while. And Herrera not up and throwing at all, so he will not factor in this one, at least for the moment.
Blaine Boyer made his major league debut in 2005. 36-year-old right-hander for Kansas City. Ned Yost trying to buy a day for his closer.
Last thing you want to do this early in the season is extend one of your pitchers, especially the one at the end who is of vital importance to you.
Check swing, no go.
Nice check by Jose. When you start your swing and you check it up, you have to have very strong hands and wrists. He did start his swing, was able to check it right there, and got the benefit of the call from Jordan Baker. Good check.
Two. Chopper toward the mound. Boyer for round number 1. So here's Nicky. Delmonico 2 doubles in the game, a run scored, an RBI. Called a strike.
Outfield playing deep all the way around, as deep as they can get, because they're playing a no double set. Duda on the line, but Moustakas off the line.
Oh, 2 on Delmonico.
Pretty easy on the first 2 pitches to see what Boyer intends and what Butera wants. They want to throw it right about belt high, in under the hands of Nicky on the inside part.
Oh, 2. 2 gone. So it's up to Matt Davidson, down a run.
Matt's been on a couple of times today. Fans on their feet. Now in this series, when they've gotten Matt out, they've gone inside, but there's so little room for error. Boyer is not a blazer, so you go inside at your peril. He'd probably just as soon keep it away. You could see where he likes to throw the ball. He threw it right in on the hands of Delmonico, meaning glove side strong, likely to stay away from Davidson. That was a hanger, and he got a break there.
I was getting Matt has hit a couple of hanging sliders in this series a very long way. One 1-0 from Boyer to Davidson. Big chopper on the infield. An extra bounce and no chance for Goins. An infield single for Matt Davidson. And Trace Thompson's spot comes up.
That one right off the plate. And Matt Davidson and his flying feet with an infield hit. He's hustling because he knows this is a game, and that took a right turn on Goins. Didn't matter whether Escobar or Goins, he's not going to make that play, and Adam Engel, and all of that speed representing the tying run. Trace Thompson, who came in earlier for Daniel Polka, having his opportunity, and Davidson kept it alive.
Word on Alcides Escobar is a hand bruise. He is day to day. Throw on Engel, whose Twitter handle is Man of Steel 15, STEAL. So if he's equipped for any spot in the late innings, it may be this very one.
Butera wants the ball away. Engel's got a good lead at first.
He doesn't go. It's a called strike on Trace Thompson.
Well, Drew Butera would like nothing more than to make amends for the bunt he did not get down. And that would include a throw out of a would-be base stealer to end the ball game. Nice lead at first by Adam.
And shortened very quickly.
Boyer noticed it too. Looked like he took an extra half step. Boyer not the quickest to the plate.
Oh, 1. Called strike 2. 2 close pitches right on the fringe and 2 strikes.
Well, you'd figure a slider would be forthcoming. This becomes a good pitch to run because Boyer doesn't use a lot of slide steps. He's using the high leg kick, and that gives a base stealer another step and a half on the lead and on the jump. The lead is out there between 12 and 13 feet.
Adam doesn't run. Trace fouls it away.
He went with the fastball, and Trace was able to stay alive. The last at bat for Trace Thompson was a good one. He lost the battle, but it was a good battle. Butera looking over in the dugout. Ned Yost, a former major league catcher. Is he thinking pitch out?
Adam runs. Half swing liner, and this game concludes with the Sox stranding a runner and Kansas City scoring one in the 8th. 5-4 your final score. We'll come back and wrap it up from Kauffman Stadium. Sox win the series. Royals take the last 2.